It's the fastest, most unpredictable speedway on Earth.
Iron made this place. Mined, smelted, forged. And every spring, we gather round and celebrate. Iron sharpening iron.
Oh, he gets tattooed!
But in order to take it all home, you need nerves of steel. The big one is back. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. We're making it look like we're in our Tuscaloosa studio, but actually I'm coming to you from the road from Greenville, South Carolina, where Alabama on Friday will start playing the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. But it's great to be with you as we start the show today by taking a look at what's coming up, plus our headlines, thanks to our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's take a look at what's coming up on the show. We'll actually start the show by talking football. Spring practice underway for the Crimson Tide, and we'll be hearing from the head coach, Kalen DeBoer, coming up shortly with Coach's Checklist, giving his thoughts following Alabama's first practice of the year. Then we'll be talking women's basketball with Essence Cody, who on Monday was once again named the SEC Freshman of the Week for a fourth time this year. Also earned SEC All-Freshman honors. A great one-on-one conversation with her about Alabama women's basketball, followed up by a conversation with another Alabama freshman for the men's basketball team, Sam Walters, getting to learn all about the freshman from the Villages in Florida. Then we'll wrap up our conversations with Aidan Moza from the Crimson Tide baseball team, the Saturday starter for a Crimson Tide baseball team that's off to a terrific start this season. Looking at men's basketball, of course, a tough weekend for Alabama. Great atmosphere on Saturday. College game day was really fun on Saturday morning, but the Crimson Tide ultimately fell to Tennessee 81-74 on Saturday at Coleman Coliseum. And then a very quick turnaround for the Tuesday game against the Florida Gators. Florida ends up winning 105-87 on Tuesday night. So a couple of tough losses in a row for Alabama. We did get some good news earlier in the week that Mark Sears, who has left off the semifinalist list, he has been named a finalist, one of 5 finalists for the Bob Cousy Award, going to the best point guard in the nation. If you missed Hey Coach on Monday night, Nate Oates had a really funny way of talking about how the fact that the committee got it wrong earlier in the year, but now they're kind of rectifying that wrong by making sure Sears is represented on the finalist list. Now this week, speaking of final, it is Alabama's final game of the regular season coming up on Saturday morning against Arkansas. Radio coverage will start at 10 o'clock across the network for that 11 a.m. tip-off between Alabama and Arkansas before the Crimson Tide will head to Nashville to take part in the SEC tournament starting next week. For the women's basketball team, a great finish to the season, winning the final 3 games of the regular season, including topping Texas A&M 78-71, a great come-from-behind win in the fourth quarter on Sunday. With that win, the Crimson Tide were even with Tennessee in the standings at 10-6, but Alabama had the tiebreaker because of a win earlier this year in Tuscaloosa against the Lady Vols, so Alabama is the number 4 seed for the SEC tournament. First time that's happened since 1998, first double bye that the Crimson Tide have enjoyed in quite a long time. Great honor again for Alabama, as this has been a truly historic season for women's basketball. With that, Sarah Ashley Barker named to the first team All-SEC list, as well as Aaliyah Nye second team All-SEC, and then Essence Cody, as I mentioned, was the SEC Freshman of the Week. She was also named to the Freshman All-SEC team, so congratulations to those young ladies on those outstanding honors. Now, coming up on Friday, it will be Alabama's starting play here in Greenville, South Carolina in the SEC tournament in the quarterfinals. A great strong position to start from. Alabama will take on the winner of either Tennessee or Georgia and Kentucky on Thursday. And then if Alabama picks up a win, likely it'd be another matchup with South Carolina, the regular season champion in the SEC, the number 1 seed for the tournament. But the semifinals would be on Saturday. And of course, the championship game, if Alabama can reach that mark, would be on Sunday, all from Greenville. And we'll have full radio coverage available across the network. Looking at the Diamond Sports for Alabama, softball and baseball, both teams suffered 1 loss apiece this past weekend. Alabama softball was 3-1 at the Crimson Classic, did have a loss to South Alabama, but overall some strong wins, especially against Arizona. Now this weekend, Saturday through Monday, it's Alabama softball starting SEC play against the Florida Gators. We look forward to having some great coverage of that coming up here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. For the baseball team, a great 2 wins out in Frisco, Texas, picking up victories against Power 5 underdog programs Indiana and Arizona. Crimson Tide did fall on Sunday to see the winning streak to begin the year come to a close, but that was to a very good Dallas Baptist team in a back and forth game. So the Crimson Tide now this weekend, after having a midweek game on Wednesday against Troy, now it's Alabama at home against Lipscomb for the final weekend series of non-conference play. Lipscomb, another good team that should be competing in the postseason again this year. And then after that, it's Alabama really getting ready for SEC play next week, going to Hattiesburg to take on a good Southern Miss team next Tuesday, and then next Friday through Sunday, the Tennessee Vols in town to begin SEC play. A few other notes on Crimson Tide athletics. The gymnastics team fell to number 2 LSU, but competed well last Friday in Baton Rouge. Now they'll wrap up the home slate coming up with a quad meet this Friday night, 7 o'clock. Alabama will be hosting Illinois, Minnesota from the Big Ten, as well as Talladega. Also, women's golf competing this week at the Darius Rucker Intercollegiate in South Carolina. But the football team is back on the practice field here in Tuscaloosa. Spring football is here. It's the start, of course, of a new era for Alabama athletics, with Kalen DeBoer taking over as head coach of the Crimson Tide. And after Monday's practice, he met with the media. Let's have the first coach's checklist from spring football practice with Kalen DeBoer.
Good evening, and man, all of a sudden, just like that, practice one's over. So it was a great day out there, as first practices always are. Full of energy, full of excitement. This came on fast, and the practice went fast. Really clean. I was, proud of our coaches and staff, and as well as our players, just for really understanding kind of the things we were trying to accomplish today. Not just the execution of the football field, when it came to run our concepts and our plays, but also just, the transitions. It's new for everyone, and the guys, I thought, just did a great job. You can see the want to, the desire, is there through the effort that they gave, and just really thought it came together in a nice way. They protected each other, which is a big thing when it comes to our practice habits, and we want to be healthy and be able to improve every play, and you got to be able to. The only way to prove is by being out there. So, I think that's one of the key things, and doing what we're doing all spring long is just being really intentional in what we're doing, whether it's building relationships or how we practice, creating those habits that are what we call championship habits, and I think they did a really nice job with that today. So I'll open up for questions. Well, I don't know if it's not that I didn't expect it. The thing I want to give our guys props for is just how open they've been to everything that we've asked them to do. So it doesn't surprise me. They've embraced, all the little differences and nuances that different personalities bring, just different ideas that we have, and it's just been really smooth. And it's a huge credit to our guys, and I think our staff's done a really good job of being aligned and on the same page and being organized to where it's very clear, concise, and the expectations are something that the guys can easily understand. No, we kept it pretty consistent with what it's been, and the guys, you can tell it's something that they really feel strong about. The energy just is there, from the beginning to the end. And I think the key is taking that in the workouts when we're in the early winter months here, and transferring that over to football. And that was the challenge today. We have a period at the end where we gather, and we've referred to it, I've done this many years now, refer to it as also the finish or fourth quarter period. And, being able to connect to what they just did the last few weeks with the fourth quarter program, it's transferring it from the indoor and the workouts that they're doing onto the football field. I think that excites them, and there's been a lot of football games won because of the work that's been put in because of that program, and they believe in it, and it's going to be important for us this fall for sure.
There is nothing like Sweet Home Talladega. Don't miss out on the opportunity to witness the thrill of four-wide racing on one of NASCAR's most iconic tracks. From the blistering speed on the track to the unparalleled fan access at the Talladega Garage Experience, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Don't miss out on NASCAR's much-anticipated return to Talladega Superspeedway for the Geico 500 on April 21st. Purchase your tickets today at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Of course, we'll have more coverage of Alabama football all throughout the spring, getting ready for the Golden Flake A-Day game on Saturday, April 13th at Bryant-Denny Stadium. We've had great coverage the last few weeks of Alabama women's basketball, getting some one-on-one conversations with Crimson Tide stars like Sarah Ashley Barker, Loyal McQueen, and Aaliyah Nye. But this week, we wanted to talk to the outstanding freshman who's been now 4 times named the SEC Freshman of the Week, Essence Cody, who has put together a tremendous year starting from day one for Alabama at the center position. And we get to learn about her transition to college basketball and what this first year's been like here in Tuscaloosa. Here's our one-on-one conversation with Alabama women's basketball star Essence Cody. Now, pleased to be joined by Crimson Tide freshman Essence Cody, who once again has been named the SEC Freshman of the Week. Now, back-to-back weeks, 4 times this season. Essence, I think it's pretty safe to say you're enjoying your first year in Tuscaloosa, but roll tide. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, roll tide. I am.
What has the transition been like? Of course, a McDonald's All-American, your high school days in Valdosta, playing here as a starter as a freshman. What's the transition been like to women's college basketball at the collegiate level?
It's been a big adjustment playing here at University of Alabama with good players on the team and just good teammates to support me and just help me get better throughout the process of the SEC.
It really has been good to see. You mentioned some of your teammates helping you along. Who was really helpful, especially in your early days, first few games in November and December, helping you make that transition?
Mostly everybody. It's a team effort. We always encourage each other, push each other to get better and just to work every day and be consistent and just get 1% better every day.
We really have seen that. And it seems like this group has a pretty tight bond. What was it like in the offseason getting to know your teammates and making sure you guys were on the same page entering the season?
Well, we went to Spain, so that was a big part of just getting together and just having fun with each other and just knowing each other, how we communicate. And it's like from the moment, like, we just know, like, we were going to be, like, together. And it's like we build on that and we build our relationship on just outside of basketball, just going out, having some time to ourselves and just talking.
Yeah, how much fun was that trip to Spain, especially with some of the different sites you got to see? And I'm sure the food was really good over there.
Well, the food was good, but it's different. But my teammates and I, we explored. We had a time. We just explored the 3 places that we went to. We did a lot. The coaches. We sightseed. We did a lot as a team.
Going back to the recruiting process for you, as I mentioned, a great player out of Valdosta, Georgia, McDonald's All-American. You're recruited by a lot of different programs. What made Alabama stand out, especially when you got to visit Tuscaloosa and get to meet our coaches?
University of Alabama stood out to me because of the coaching staff and how they never stopped supporting me, and how my teammates, they were never outside of themselves. They were always true to who they are. And I just felt like being here was home, and also that I'm closer to family in Montgomery. So that made a good choice too.
Has their family been able to come watch you a lot this season?
Yes, they have. They've been to a couple of games here at Coleman.
Well, that's really special to see. And again, this team is having a fantastic season. Ranks number 4 in the SEC, getting the double bye for the SEC tournament. Just what do you think's led to some of the good performances, especially in the last few weeks for this basketball team?
Just us being together, working together, not getting frustrated, just staying patient and consistent, and just working on the court and just getting better every day, and just allowing the flow to happen and just playing our game.
Of course, there are some great veteran leaders on this team like Loyal McQueen, Sarah Ashley Barker, Aaliyah Nye, Jessica Timmons, but you round out that starting 5. Do you feel like you're starting to lead a little bit more as a freshman as well?
I say that I'm working on it. I feel like throughout this process, I've been learning and I've been watching my teammates and how they communicate and how they they support each other. So I'm getting close to there.
That's really good to see. And this group is, of course, getting set for the SEC women's basketball tournament in Greenville, South Carolina, the NCAA tournament after that. Just how exciting is it knowing the postseason is right on the doorstep for this basketball team?
It's exciting. The end is coming, but it's never a dull moment with them. And I just know that this postseason, we're still going to keep working hard and getting better and just see what next year becomes.
It really is exciting. Again, you've been a four-time SEC Freshman of the Week. You've had some great performances, getting some points in the paint, rebounding. Just what's the mindset you got to have in order to get some of these tough rebounds and blocks we've been able to see you get over the last few weeks?
Just allowing myself just to be patient and consistent and just playing my game.
It's really exciting to see. I'll let you go on this. Again, the SEC tournament, NCAA tournament coming up. Just what do you feel like this group is capable of here in the next few weeks?
This team is capable of a lot. We have great talent. We have many talent on this team, and I feel like we are getting better each day and just allowing everybody on the team just to play their game and play big minutes and just know that everyone on the team can contribute to on the court.
Well, we look forward to seeing it. Essence, Cody, congratulations on once again being named the SEC Freshman of the Week for a fourth time this season. Best of luck coming up in Greenville and in the NCAA tournament. Thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Iron made this place. But in order to take it all home, you need nerves of steel. The big one is back. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
From one talented freshman to another, we go from Essence Cody to the men's basketball side with Sam Walters, a really three-point specialist who's improved really all aspects of his game playing for the men's basketball team this season. He talks about that transition, plus what it's like for him to compete for the Crimson Tide in another one-on-one conversation with Sam Walters. Sam, Roll Tide, thank you for joining us. How have you enjoyed your freshman year here at the Capstone?
Roll Tide, and I've really enjoyed it so far. It's everything I really could have asked for, to be honest. One part of the main reason that I came here was to play for a successful program, play for a successful coach like Coach Oates, and obviously that's what we've been doing this year. And then also play with really good people and players. And the guys that I've met on this team have been some of my best friends that I've met. I've made some real brothers here, and I just love it so far.
When you're coming off the bench for Alabama, what are you looking to do? How do you try to impact the game?
Whatever I can, whether that be score, hit some shots, or guard, get some rebounds, make big tough plays. Whatever coach asks me of that game, or whatever my role is, that's what I'm looking to do. I just want to win. So however the defense will play me. Sometimes like teams don't let me get threes off just based off scouting report. So I know I have to go in there and get some rebounds and make tough plays. So whatever I can do to win.
Now, Coach has praised your shooting from the moment you got to Tuscaloosa, but he has talked about your defense, saying even in the media, I'm sure he said it to you behind closed doors, you had some steps to take forward defensively, and you've done that throughout the season. How'd you improve your defense as this year went along?
Really just watching a lot of film, getting with the coaches. I really appreciate all the coaches. I feel like they really believe in me, and they've been trying to help me along. So good watching film, getting with guys like Rylan Griffin, even Nick Pringle, like talking to me about different things. They've really been like picking their brain on what they do and certain actions. I've really been trying to do that so I can learn to be as good defensively as those guys.
Have there been a few plays that sticked out to you as some of your favorite you made defensively so far this year?
Yeah, definitely like some of the plays I made in the second half, like the blocks I made against Florida, just because that's like a hometown school, like getting some blocks really, and then like just any time I get a steal or a block, just some of those things.
That's been really good to see. And you mentioned your hometown team with Florida. Did you grow up a Gators fan, living in the Villages?
Yeah, like really during my high school career, since I like moved there during like my freshman year, like it was like 45 minutes away. So that I definitely was following the team, and everyone there was a Florida fan, so I kind of fell into that as well.
Yeah, let's talk about the Villages for just a second. I think a lot of us see the commercials, see a lot of senior citizens maybe playing golf, taking golf carts everywhere around town. Was that really the experience? What was it really like to live in a place like that?
Yeah, so like there's like two areas. So there's like the actual villages, and then there's like a family area. So I live in the family area, but the golf cart thing, that's very accurate. Everybody I don't personally have one, but everyone has golf carts. Some people they used to drive them to school even. So yeah, you'll see like some of my high school games, like the parking lot will be filled with golf carts and stuff like that. Just from like all the people, they'll just drive their golf cart up to the game because the high school was like right there. So it was really cool. And then the just living there, like small kind of a small town, even though it's like a big kind of like known area somewhat. Everyone really knows everyone. The people there like really supported me throughout my high school career, and they still do now. Like they're bringing a couple buses to come watch us play at Florida. So it's gonna be really fun.
That will be exciting. Florida's a friendliest hometown, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's certainly good. You mentioned developing your game in high school, and again, the 3-point shot has certainly helped you here at Alabama. Just where did you start to develop some of your shooting mechanics? When did things start to really click for you with your shot?
I feel like I've always been kind of a good shooter, but definitely I kind of changed some things. My junior year when I went back to the Villages, I met my trainer that I still work out with now, TJ Bannister. He really helped me a lot with my game and making sure my shot. I still had a pretty solid shot, but he really made sure my shot was like using the right form, making sure I hope I followed through all the little things that I do with my shot. So he definitely helped me change my game for sure.
And then who's helping you now here at Alabama, especially maybe some managers that are helping you after hours and things like that?
Yeah, I get in the gym a lot with Erwin Dudley, who's my GA, which is obviously an Alabama legend. So anytime I can have someone of that caliber be with me and help me work out, that's a big thing. Also, Coach Pannone, I work on my ball handling and other stuff. We watch film all the time. So those two guys have really been guys that have really helped me progress my game along.
Again, you're just a freshman here at Alabama. Tell us about the recruiting process. When did Alabama first get on your radar? Who were some of the first coaches you started talking to, and what sold them? What sold you on the vision they were trying to sell about Alabama basketball?
Yeah, the recruitment process was crazy. I had a good amount of schools that reached out, but I committed pretty early. I was the first guy in our recruiting class to come, but I got offered after the second session of the EYBL. Coach Petway was there. He watched me play, and he offered me after my second game, I believe. And it was kind of funny because it's like I remember like getting into the game and like seeing like Alabama there, and I was like, that's one of the schools I was like I hope I get an offer from going into the game, and I saw him, and I was obviously blessed to get to offer from him. And one of the main reasons was the relationship I built with him and Coach Oates. They really like called, checked on me all the time through like the ups and downs of my junior and senior year, junior, summer, senior season. And the play style is exactly like the playing style of Alabama, shoot a bunch of threes and play fast is exactly how I play. And it's a real like NBA style. So I felt like that can help me progress my game to the next level. And I feel like it was the best fit for me.
And definitely, as you mentioned, a good relationship with Coach Oates, but Coach Petway leaves to go become the head coach at Kennesaw State. The whole assistant coaching staff changes from one year to the next, just as you're getting to Tuscaloosa. What was that transition like? How have you enjoyed getting to know these new assistants?
It's been really good. I tell everybody. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for the old staff, and they obviously did a good job. But I kind of like having a full new staff because we're kind of building our own thing here, and making our own name known with all the new coaches. They've really been. They're kind of getting the same boat as me. They're all new to this program, and we're learning a lot together. And I think we've done a pretty good job with that this year.
How much have you enjoyed home games at Coleman Coliseum?
They're really good. I mean, playing in front of the people I go to school with every day, all the fans, it's really nice. It's really honestly better than I expected, to be honest. I know I've been to a couple. I went to like 2 games last year, but it's very electric, very loud, and it's even louder when you're on the court, to be honest.
Has it really hit you yet that you're about to participate in March Madness with the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament just around the corner?
Yeah. To be honest, it just recently hit me just because it was at the end of February. But yeah, we're obviously just trying to take one game at a time. We have a big one coming up tomorrow, so we're just trying to just cross another team off the list and continue our journey to get as far as we want to go.
Well, we got to know you on the court. What about off the court? What are you interested in academically and anything you've done in the community here in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, since I've got out here, I've gotten into golfing. I know like the Villages is a big golfing community, but I've actually gotten into golfing. I'm trying to get my own clubs. I'm in the process of getting them right now, but I've been golfing a couple times with Grant Nelson and Kai Spears, who are 2 of my friends, obviously on the team. Grant is definitely the best golfer on our team, for just so you know. But yeah, I enjoy golfing, bowling as well, and Just I mean, I guess in the classroom, I kind of enjoy all my classes, but history is definitely my favorite class.
That's definitely good to hear. Well, we'll let you go on this. Again, some huge basketball coming up for the Crimson Tide down the stretch. Just what do you feel like this team is capable of reaching here in 2024?
I think we can go as far as we want to go. As long as we continue to stay focused, I think we can achieve everything that we set forth. I think we're in the right headed in the right direction, and I think we're just going to keep working to get to where we need to go.
We look forward to seeing it. Sam Walters, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the way. Roll Tide.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Roll Tide.
NASCAR is returning to one of its most iconic tracks. Be there and experience the energy, the excitement, and the power as drivers battle it out at Talladega Superspeedway for the Geico 500 on April 21st. Lock in your tickets today at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Really appreciate the time of Essence Cody and Sam Walters joining us the first week of March as March Madness is just around the corner. You can say the same for the Alabama baseball team. Yes, we're still months away from the postseason in baseball, but we know that SEC play is right around the corner with the Tennessee Vols looming next weekend and then a road trip to Georgia. And making some weekend starts for the Crimson Tide this year has been Aidan Moza. As we'll talk about in this interview, he's seen his role change a little bit, not only during his time at Alabama, going from the bullpen to the starting rotation, but even this season. He's had a bit of a change in his role due to an injury on this Crimson Tide roster, but we get a chance to talk about Aidan Moza, about his Alabama career, and what's next for the Crimson Tide. Aidan, we've enjoyed watching you on the mound. How's everything been going so far for you and the Crimson Tide?
So far, everything's been going great, Roger, and it's been an awesome start to the season, especially with Coach Vaughn being in his first season and bringing in a bunch of new guys. We've really gelled as a team and off to a hot start, and we look to continue that streak.
Certainly look forward to it as SEC play is just around the corner for you and the Crimson Tide baseball team. Last year, we got to see you out of the bullpen for Alabama. This year, we get to see you in a starting role. What do you like about being back in the starting rotation?
The best part about being in the starting rotation is that I have the confidence to go out there and give myself and the team the best chance to win, especially going out there for 5 or 6 innings. And if I can provide those zeros and help this team win, that's my biggest goal. And that's what I'm most confident in doing.
And then looking at your pitching, what are the different pitches that you throw? And when you're having success on the mound, what's each pitch doing when you're at your best?
So I throw a four-seam fastball, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. And when I'm at my best, my four seam's at the bottom of the zone. My slider is wipe out to righties, and my curveball is wipe out to lefties. And I can throw that changeup to left-handers as well. And when I'm at my best, it's really just getting ahead, staying ahead, and putting guys away when I need to keep my pitch count at a minimum.
What was really the focus among your pitches over the offseason? What did you and Jason Jackson work on the most to get ready for this year?
So me and JJ are huge guys that looking into different pitches. And when I was coming back from the Cape, we really looked into my changeup as being one of my better pitches to get people off of my fastball. So in our bullpens in the fall and in the preseason, we really worked on that changeup, and it's really become one of my better pitches.
You mentioned some of the success in the Cape Cod League. We'll get to that in a moment. But also going back to Jason Jackson, of course, you started your career at UAB, you transfer to Alabama, you get to work with him last year, and then you get to see him in a brand new role as the season went on, taking over as the interim head coach. Just how did he manage that situation while still being a great pitching coach for you guys?
Well, he's all around just a great dude and a great player coach. So when he took the interim head coaching job, the players really looked at him as more of like a father figure rather than a coach, a guy they can go to talk to, and a guy that knows the game. And in reality, he was still our pitching coach, so he really took that as his pride and joy, and that was his main priority. Well, while he was still making lineup cards, so everybody really looked up to JJ in that role, and I think he played it perfectly.
How exciting was it when the news was announced you're getting Rob Vaughn as the head coach, but for you especially, JJ got to stay as the associate head coach and pitching coach?
That was one of the big deciding factors for me staying as well, was having JJ on the staff, because he's been one of the greatest pitching coaches ever and one of the guys that's made me who I am today. And I was just as skeptical as anybody with Rob Vaughn being hired, because I didn't know anything about the guy until he came in, and he sat me down, he looked at me and said, "Hey, I'm here for your best interest." And he really reminded me a lot of JJ, and a huge player coach, and he's done nothing but awesome things since he's been here. And those two guys together are the best coaching dynamic duo in the country, easily.
It's really been good to see. And speaking of best in the country, you got to pitch in the Cape Cod League, which is regarded as the best summer wood and bat league in all of college baseball. Just how much fun was that experience for you getting to go up against some guys maybe you'd seen before in the SEC with Alabama, but now you're on a national stage in the Cape Cod League?
It was an awesome experience. It was definitely something that I would 100% do again. And going up to the Cape and playing a summer collegiate baseball, it was kind of like just playing baseball free. You go out there, you play, you have fun, really no rules to it. And getting to play different guys from different conferences was awesome. We got to play Travis Bazzana, who is widely known as the #1 baseball player in the country. We also faced a bunch of players from Florida and LSU. So it really just it felt like a home atmosphere for great competition.
Great competition as well for you in the fall once you returned to Tuscaloosa for the fall semester and the fall ball as you guys were split up into two different teams. Which team were you on, first of all, and who else was on your team that helped make it a fun fall?
So I was on Team Yellowhammer to start the fall, and I mean, I had one of the best falls of my entire life going up against Evan Slight and Ian Petrutz on the Gumps. While I also had Gage Miller, who's been a huge part of the success of this team early on, as well as TJ McCants. And we also had Greg Ferrone on the starting rotation with us, along with Hagan Banks and Zane Probst, two great guys out of the bullpen. So it was just all around just fun competition, really evenly matched teams, and every day was a great day to compete.
How much fun was that team atmosphere that you guys got to have being kind of split up in really every aspect and then brought together for preseason camp to get ready for this spring?
I think that was the main contributor for us gelling so well was that we got to face off every single chance we got. And competition was one thing that fuels this team. And what makes this team even better is that we love to compete. So having all of those guys compete, especially with us not knowing each other that well, just kind of built those relationships and got us gelled together a lot quicker than we thought. And it allowed us to become a better team before we even stepped foot in for preseason. So the fall was a huge part of the success of this team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this team gels over the course of the season.
Things can always change really quickly in baseball. Alabama starts the season against Manhattan with the weekend rotation of Ben Hess on Friday, Riley Quick on Saturday, you on Sunday, and that lasted for only 1 week, unfortunately, with the injury to Riley Quick. Now you slide into the Saturday role. First of all, on Riley, just what's he been like since the injury? I know he's been around this ball club, and how do you expect he'll bounce back?
So Riley, same guy as before the injury. He's a huge team energy guy, and he brings a lot of personality to this team. And we really love him, and we really hated to see him go down like that. And all the pitchers love that guy, look up to him as one of the leaders of this team. But as the injury came along, we had to just fill his shoes, and I was more than willing to hop into that Saturday spot, have Greg bump into my Sunday spot, just almost looking forward to filling his shoes so that I can give this team the best chance to win and allow myself for them to be as confident as me in Riley.
And then last year, Ben Hess was off to a really good start before his season came to a close with injury. How have you seen him bounce back and get off to a strong start? What have you seen from Heater?
He's just one of those guys that's competition is his ideal thing, and he loves looking at pitchology and just looking at different ways to make his pitches move. And he's a huge attention to detail guy. So having him come back and he's just more hungry than ever to get back on that mound and take us to Omaha and get us that extra step because he knows if we would have had him there in Wake Forest, that series would have been a lot different. He wants to be back in that situation and wants to help his team win more than anybody on it.
And then for all the pitchers, of course, a huge reason of the success you're having to start the year is the play behind the plate of your Crimson Tide catchers, led by Matt Cassetti. What kind of a receiver is he for you?
Mac is one of those guys that we like to call Picasso. He is one of the most elite at what he does, and he can make anything look pretty, no matter the pitch, no matter the spot. And there's even times where he catches a ball that may be off the plate, maybe out of the zone, and even the umpire goes, "Well, it looks good enough to me," just because he does such a great job back there. And him and Cam both, with Cam being a transfer in, has really taken under Mac's wing, and they've both become really great backstops behind the dish for us.
That's really cool to see. And of course, we've seen some good crowds already with some good weather at Sewell Thomas Stadium to start the year. Just what kind of confidence does that give you and all the other Crimson Tide players? You look out to the right field berm, you see it completely full like it was during regionals, but now it's
Yeah.
looking that way in February and March.
Yeah. It's just awesome to have that kind of fan experience and fan atmosphere because it allows all of our players to have this certain kind of confidence. And I remember first game of the first week, and I looked at Evan Slight right in the face, and I said, "You could just feel it in your bones." There's just something different about playing at the Joe with that fan experience and having those guys clap with two strikes. And everybody that runs the right field just knows they're going to be in for a little bit of a bruising out there. So that's awesome.
It really is a fun atmosphere. We look forward to it coming up against Lipscomb and Tennessee. But Aidan Moza, best of luck in your starts leading up to what's going to be a really busy part of the season, getting set for SEC play. Just thank you for your time with us here on Crimson Tide Sports Network. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Visit Tuscaloosa as your go-to resource for all things Tuscaloosa. Check out their events calendar at visittuscaloosa.com. Don't forget about the half marathon coming up in March. Again, visit tuscaloosa.com, your place to check out everything happening in this great city we call home, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Really appreciate the time of Aidan Moza as he'll be competing this weekend against Lipscomb. And then after that, SEC play starts with a home series against Tennessee, then on the road against Georgia in his home state. We certainly look forward to what's coming up for him and the Crimson Tide baseball team. We have a lot to look forward to, as it turns out, across Alabama athletics all throughout this weekend. Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule. It is brought to you by Wickles Pickles. They are wickedly delicious. Find out how you can involve Wickles Pickles in your next Bama tailgate online at wicklespickles.com. Let's see what's coming up across the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Well, starting on Friday, of course, we have our weekly television shows, the Nate Oates television show, as well as Tide TV this week. And then it's women's basketball taking center stage on Friday afternoon at the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament, hoping to advance to play on Saturday in the semifinals and then Sunday in the championship game in Greenville, South Carolina. Baseball will also start its series against Lipscomb at 6 p.m. And speaking of Alabama baseball, home against Lipscomb again at 6 p.m. on Saturday, then wrapping up their series at 1 o'clock on Sunday. It'll certainly be busy around Coliseum Drive and really all over campus coming up on Saturday, not only with baseball, but the men's basketball team early start against the Arkansas Razorbacks for senior night, as it'll be 11 a.m. the tip-off. 10 a.m. will be the start time for our coverage here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Then after the basketball game is over, head over to Rhodes Stadium and enjoy some Crimson Tide softball as Alabama will start SEC play against a talented Florida team. And really, all these three games line up. You can go to all three. Let us know on the Crimson Tide Sports Network social media platforms if you end up going to men's basketball, softball, and baseball. What a triple header that's going to be coming up on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the baseball team will wrap up that series against Lipscomb, as I mentioned. Softball will play game 2 a little bit later at 5 o'clock against the Florida Gators. And then on Monday night, we will have head coach from Baumhower's Victory Grill, as well as the finale of that series between Alabama and Florida in softball. So a lot to look forward to. Make sure you follow us as well on all CTSN social media platforms for the latest from Crimson Tide Athletics this weekend. And that's going to wrap up our coverage here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to the guests we've had, Aidan Moza from baseball, and then men's and women's basketball stars, Sam Walters and Essence Cody. Really enjoyed hearing their insights as we get ready for the basketball postseason. Thanks as well to Ethan Caravan. He put this entire show together back in Tuscaloosa while I'm on the road in Greenville. We appreciate the efforts of Ethan, and we thank all of you for watching. For everybody with the Crimson Tide Sports Network, this is Roger Hoover saying thank you for watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Let's have a great winning weekend of Alabama athletics. Roll Tide, everyone.